Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 169 of Circle Up and Get Real, where, as you know by now, we talk about things that matter with people who matter. And today, that person is my friend, Kyle Olson. Welcome, Kyle.
Well, hey, Jody, so glad to be here.
This is awesome because you have such a super platform that I am close to as well. So we're going to talk about this longest day of real estate open house, longest open house. And I also just want to talk about you, who you are. And one little thing I want to share right up front, Kyle actually did the video for my chill out event in January. If you've listened at all to this podcast, you know how much of a big deal that was. And Kyle just offered his services as a videographer to do my video for the speakers. So thank you, Kyle, for that.
You're welcome. That was such an eye-opening event. I was just amazed at how many people get into Fargo in the middle of winter.
I know, right?
And like to share their cool, exciting ideas and what they're doing in their worlds. And I loved it.
It's funny what will happen if you just ask. I'm sure you're finding that too, as you're doing your real estate career, but also you're really into giving back. And I bet you find that for yourself, don't you?
Absolutely. I mean, even that's the reason why I'm here on this podcast today was it just fits out. It's like, just ask, right? And just reach out and find the people and just ask, because it's so easy to find wins for everybody. And when we just share and we get out there and grow.
Yeah, exactly. I think, Kyle, I first probably met you when you were the president of one of my Master Networks chapters. I think that's where we got connected, even though we overlapped at Keller Williams a little bit. Is that how you remember meeting me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Kyle, back in the day, I was also a regional partner for Master Networks, a networking organization, and Kyle was one of my presidents. And you're still going strong with networking, aren't you, Kyle?
I am absolutely still keeping that group going every Thursday morning, and it makes my day great. I love it.
So the whole idea is getting together with people who are helping us elevate our work in the world, I think. Would you say that's a fair way to say it?
I would say that's exactly where we're at, yeah.
So, Kyle, in your real estate, first of all, let me back up a second. Why did you choose real estate as a career?
Oh man, there's so many facets to it. I got into it, well, if I step back a little bit, just kind of got into it trying to figure out what would be the right thing for me to do. I was traveling a lot for work. Before this, I was doing video production for a video production company in Milwaukee, and we were doing multilingual translated live webcasts of CEOs across the globe. And I was traveling across the globe working when, it just kind of sucked when you get to a new country and you only have 5-6 hours to go see the kangaroos, and your wife and kids are at home and you're trying to figure out how to make that balance, right? And so one of the things was looking for something that was going to be flexible for that. And then another thing that was like going to utilize kind of those skills and those assets that I've taken from my theater work, from my computer science work, from my creativity, and just trying to find a way to dive it all together. And one day, a guy from Florida recommended, he's like, "Hey, you ever thought about real estate?" And I'm sitting there going, I never have thought about real estate. 6 months later, I'm rocking it and in the industry and just having a blast.
Wow. How long ago was that?
That was almost 7 years now. So
nice. Well, and I love how you said you combined all of the interests that you had that you didn't even know could be combined in this industry. And as I know, having been a team leader at the company you're at right now, the creativity and the video production can really be a game changer for a real estate agent. And I know you're seeing that with the way you use video production in your real estate industry. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely, yeah. So again, coming from that video production world, trying to figure out how we could utilize that. We got into a lot of like listing videos and trying to make it a little bit more fun and exciting. When I first got into it, we weren't even really doing live videos through homes. We started doing Facebook Live tours, walking through homes on a regular basis, and then kind of bringing that excitement to it and kind of cutting them into kind of video trailers and cinematic trailers of homes, which really opened up a lot of opportunities to just kind of show a house and a little more excitement feel, and then adding in some more comedy flair to them as well.
That's
really
awesome.
made them fun.
Did you say cinematic?
Cinematic, yeah.
So what, can you give us an example of what something you've done in that genre would be?
Just with the home tours, they've been very cinematic because we've opened them up, and they're not just, here's the master bedroom and let's walk through it, and then next we got the living room and let's pan through it. So we've taken different ways of either adding some music video to it, or I did one where it was kind of a playing off from the Steve Irwin genre and pretending to find a house out in the wild and just being this like little guy and spotting it off in the distance. And it was just great to bring some creativity and some fun to those listing videos, instead of, yep, here's another bedroom, here's another
Yeah.
bathroom, here's another kitchen.
That's so good because, I know, having been in that field too, it kind of turns into a commodity where there's a real estate agent on every corner. So you do have to stand out in some way. And I love that you're doing that. And the people who list with you have an opportunity to be in that same fun, creative space as well. How has that worked to grow your business?
Oh, it's been exponentially great. I think people just enjoy finding different ways to see their home, and it gets a lot more views on the home because I'm sold faster, and we just have fun.
I love that. And
And they
that's the
want to
main
refer
thing.
it. I mean, they want to, they want to talk about, hey, check out my realtor. This is what he did. And so it's just a great way to grow my business as well. And it's kind of opened up between that and as we're talking about my cause here, it's really opened up kind of who I am as a realtor, and how I like to work more than just cold calling and prospecting, and
Yeah.
I like to build the relationships a lot deeper. That's
So
the
we're
kind
going
of
to
stuff
talk about
that
your
matters.
cause in just a second. Yeah, we're going to talk about your cause in just a second, but I want to highlight, Kyle, that you won a couple of awards this last year. What were they that you were awarded?
Yeah, so the big award was I won the Good Neighbor Award from the North Dakota Association of Realtors. So that is a award that's given out every 2 years to one realtor in North Dakota. They've had now, I think, 12 of them total in the state. And so it highlights realtors who are giving back to their community, who are growing and just supporting a major cause. So we put together some great information about that, about what we were doing with the longest open house here, and how we've kind of grown that, and just kind of the other charity stuff that I do. And it was amazing to see that they loved it and selected me as the Good Neighbor Award.
So good and so well deserved. So that kind of puts us into this cause that you're part of. Now, you want to talk a little bit about what brought you to this place of the Alzheimer's Association being your charity of choice?
Absolutely. This is the hard part, right?
I know. And it's hard for
We
me
have to prepare
too.
this.
We share this, you and I do. So we both have that experience, but go ahead and tell us about it.
Yeah, so I lost my dad about 4 years ago now. He had a battle of about 16 years with dementia and Alzheimer's, and it was really tough to see him go through the initial phases where it was, you'd have a conversation and he'd ask again, how was your day? And then a few minutes later, he'd ask again, how was your day? Right? Kind of the basics of dementia. But as it progressed, it got even worse to where he wouldn't remember where his house was. And that really, correlated with my real estate, and kind of, to me, the biggest piece of, we spend so much time in our homes. We build so many memories in our homes, and to not remember where his house was. I mean, he'd want to go to 2812, and we'd go outside and we'd show him the numbers on the house, 2812, and it just wouldn't correlate to that was his house. So he would get in the car and he would want to drive off and find that house with his wife in it. And my mom was standing right there and the house was right there, but it wasn't what he was looking for.
Yeah,
It was really
that's
sad to watch, and to be a family member who struggled through it, and not knowing what to do, not knowing how to help them. Fortunately, the Alzheimer's Association was there for me in that time of need. I was able to reach out. They've got a great 800 number. I was able to reach out and ask, hey, this is what's going on in his life. I don't know what to do. Do I take him to the nursing home? Do I take him to emergency room? Do I take him to the jail? Like, how do we support him? How do we keep him safe? How do we keep the community safe? And they were able to kind of give me some ideas on how to kind of de-escalate that situation, where to go next, and just kind of help me transition them eventually into Eventide. But yeah.
And as we know, anybody who's dealt with this, they don't look that much different on the outside. So it's hard to see this happening on the inside of them until they get to the end. I mean, you said 16 years, that's a long time.
Yeah, and he was only 71. I mean, he was still strong, vibrant, able to walk around, able to go to the neighbor's house and hoe all the weeds in the empty neighbor's lot. That's what he
Mhm.
loved doing. He was a farmer. He loved getting rid of those weeds. So he was out there every day hoeing
Mm.
the weeds. And, it's hard to see that the mentality is gone, but the physical
Mm.
body is still there.
Yeah, it is hard. I love that your message here about why you created this longest open house. So can you explain how that came together?
Absolutely. So when I lost my dad, I kind of had a goal of raising $100,000 to fight Alzheimer's, because it was like, as you've told me in the past, you have to have big goals and they have to have a number to them and they have to be out there. So I was kind of listening to, I think you at the time, and was kind of going, how do I make a goal that at least is going to make an impact? And so I'm like, I've got to raise $100,000. It just seemed like a big number.
Mhm.
Well, I'm learning more about that later, but so I started, okay, how do I give back with my real estate transactions? So I took a large portion of each transaction, and said, I'm going to give that back. But it still was going kind of slow.
Mhm.
I could sell a house every once in a while, but it wasn't getting the money. And so I tried to figure out, how do I relate real estate and what's in real estate to what somebody with dementia has. And so started thinking about the biggest piece of real estate, which is an open house. A lot of people, associate the open house with real estate. And so we decided to create something that was even bigger than an open house. What is, a long day? The longest day is one of the biggest fundraisers for the Alzheimer Association. And so I created with what was called the longest open house. And then COVID hit. But
Yeah.
we started with it, and I started Googling out there because I'm like, how is the longest open house out there? Is there one? What does it mean? And I found a couple of them were about 60 hours long. So I said, okay, I'll do longer. My wife's in medicine. She can do it overnight and not after work. I can do it.
Yeah.
Let's keep it. So we got 61 hours was the first one we ended up hosting. And that was 2 years ago now. And now this year we're hosting 64 hours long, which for those who are listening and can't do math, like some people, that's almost 3 days.
That's crazy.
64 hours, almost 3 days.
Yeah.
Start at 7 a.m. and don't quit until 11 o'clock the next night.
It's a fun event. I was a part of it last year. And I love how I'm looking on your website and you say the longest day is already a fundraiser for the Alzheimer's Association. What is that usually? Not the longest open house, but the longest day.
Yeah, so the longest day is really just a fundraiser where people go out on the longest day of the year. So it's the spring solstice or the summer solstice, usually around June 21st, somewhere in there. And they find a way to connect in their community, in their small community, and do small family fundraisers, and really allows the community to make a fundraiser around what their loved one would do or what they would do. And so it's a way to generate your own kind of fundraiser that supports the memories that you've created with these loved ones who have dementia.
I love that because you say on the website, my father suffered from some of the longest days I could ever imagine. Sometimes it felt like his day would restart every 6 minutes. And that's the amount of energy my mother had to expend caring for him, made some days heartbreaking. So if any of your listeners have experienced that with your loved one, it is like that. It can be like that. And I really love how you took that, the longest day, and said, well, let's do an open house. Let's make it the longest open house, which you have memories, sure, but you have fun, you have adventure, you have music, you have all kinds of events happening. Can you explain a little bit about what you've got going on for this year?
Oh, absolutely. And for those who are listening, if you haven't heard, the longest open house, theLongestOpenHouse.com is where you can find all the information on what the current events are going on that. And they're changing as we ramp up for this year's June 23rd through the 25th. But we have so many great events coming up into it, where I've realized that I wanted to create, like you said, create memories. So I wanted to create community memories. I wanted to create a fun community event, block party, some people have called it, where we're just trying to get out there and get a little old school and just have some classic connections, and just do some fun things. And it's really cool because as I'm growing with my kids talk about it and come up with creative ideas almost every day on the longest open house. So this year we're actually going to have, the first thing is going to be the longest lemonade stand as well. So my son Tucker is going to be out there. He's hoping to do it about 12 hours a day, which we'll see how that works. I mean, he's only 13 years old, so we'll see, but he wants to do. the longest lemonade stand out there with us. We're gonna have a beanbag toss tournament on Friday as well, where we're gonna get people out there and just enjoying the lovely weather. And then we're gonna have tacos out there. We're gonna have food trucks. We're gonna have all kinds of different options for food as we're finding in these vendors as well. And then Friday night, which is really cool, we've also have a movie encore premiere of the new Lego movie that's in town here.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you've heard about this, but Twisted Bricks came out with their own Lego movie. They spent 2 years making a Lego brick movie.
Wow.
And he is going to be encoring or premiering it June 10th at the Fargo Theater. And then we're going to encore it out there at the Longest Open House for an outdoor movie. Create more memories. Like I said, create memories for the family, create memories for the kids.
That's
And
awesome. So that's a local video production.
yeah, local video production made right here in Fargo.
Wow.
Full
That's
length Lego movie and stop motion animation. And I've watched it. It's really cool. It's really a fun story. So
well, that'll be worth coming out for. And you start on Friday and it goes till Sunday, is that right?
that's correct.
So Friday, what time?
Friday, 7 a.m. And that's just the Friday events I talked about there. There's so
Wow.
many events.
Wow. More going on. That's just Friday. So I'm looking on the website right now. So we'll go into the details of that. It says here Fargo and Milwaukee. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So actually, since I've been doing this now for 3 years, I had a few other agents reach out and go, "This is really cool. How can we do the same thing?" And finally, a few of them, I told them, "Well, you got to stay up 64 hours," and they then hang up the phone on me.
That was it.
I haven't found any that are quite as crazy as I am, but that's
Yeah.
okay. It's about the cause, right?
Oh, that's funny.
So this year, Zach Shipley decided that in Milwaukee, he was going to host his own as well. So he is just trying to locate the house. I think he's got that located now and putting together some of the same things that we're doing and same events out there to try and raise, again, funds and awareness with the same cause in Milwaukee and see how we can grow this nationally to other cities. And
So good. So I'm looking at here past longest open house results. Now you started in 2021. You lost your dad in 2019. So you started in 2021. That one was 62 hours because was the longest one before that 60?
the longest one for that was 61. Sorry, 61. Yep.
61.
So one more hour.
So somebody had already done that somewhere.
Yep.
And you said we're going to break that record. So in 2021, it was 62 hours. You raised $7,000. You had 12 sponsors and you broke the world record.
Yep.
And then that wasn't enough. So 2022, 63 hours, you raised $15,606, 26 sponsors, 48 donors, and second world record.
There we are.
And nobody's challenging you.
Nobody's challenging. It's from
world
what I've
record.
seen. Nobody's challenging.
So good.
And now this year, we got 64 hours going in, and our goal is to raise $25,000. So between the two locations, I think we're great on that, and we're gonna find a way to get to that goal. That $100,000 goal, like I said, is
It's right there.
blowing up. It's so easy now.
It is. It's so great. So 40 sponsors so far, and this is not even happening yet, everybody. June 23rd to the 25th. So if you're listening to this and you'd like to get involved, there are lots of ways to get involved, Kyle. You want to talk about a few of the options for people who want to get involved?
Yeah. So of course the easy one is donate, right? Just
Sure.
hit the website, longestopenhouse.com, and donate. We'd love that. If you've got a business out there that you're either wanting to sponsor an hour, we'll talk about your business throughout that hour, maybe talk about if you have a connection to the cause throughout that hour, or, if you just want to even just share the events that we have out coming up, you can do that. And then also, just come out and hang out with us and create those memories.
Yeah.
Those to me are the best ways to share and to get connected with the event.
So you've got it being broadcast live throughout. How are you doing that?
So yeah, so
radio. It's like
it's on the radio.
Is it on the radio or is it on?
Yeah, we have it on the radio. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter and Twitch. And we just broadcast from out there and make our own little station and try and keep people entertained. Thanks to any donors as they come in, sharing about our sponsors and sharing about the events as they're happening. So trying to keep people connected all weekend long if they're not able to be locally there or be connected to it, to at least see what we're doing.
That's so great. Now you
And
found
see my
a
purple suit.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there for some of it. You found a place to have the open house. It's the same place you had it last year. Talk about Brookstone a little bit, and that's one of your partners.
Yeah, so Brookstone Property is a great custom home builder here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. They build some amazing models out there. They've got 6 or 7 different floor plans that they really build well. And we're going to be out at the 6012 78th, which is the rose stone model. It's about 1,500 square feet on each level, so about 3,000 total. And it's just a beautiful Rambler home, and they've graciously allowed us to use it the last 2 days. And then on top of that, they also matched our sponsorship money on it too. So in the past, they've matched it, and we'll see what this year's as. We'll be able to hopefully announce some new sponsor matching. But
Nice.
they're it's been a great partner in the entire event.
So can you talk a little, I love this so much, and it's fun, you guys. I've been out there, and it is fun. There are a lot of things going on at the same time. I was part of the cornhole tournament or the beanbag tournament. I did some chalk on the driveway, and there were a lot of people coming and going, a lot of activities when I was out there. And it is fun, as you said, it's fun, and it's just fun to be part of a cause that is so important to us, those of us who've experienced it personally. But even if you haven't experienced this personally, this is a super amazing cause to be part of. So there are lots of ways to get involved. And Kyle, how can you already mentioned your website? It is longestopenhouse.com. Is that the best way for them to find you now in advance?
Yeah, it's the best way to find us now in advance. We'll be bringing out events on social media, Facebook and Eventbrite and everything else as we get them completely locked in the timing. But that's the best way. We'll have all the updated information right on that website, and follow us as well. But
And you're going to want to see Kyle in his Alzheimer's pajamas, because he actually has Alzheimer's pajamas. Everything's purple. That's the color. So you'll see Kyle takes this very seriously. You have a suit made out of purple
yeah, I
material.
have a purple suit that they kick it off with. Then depending on the temperature, I go into, purple shorts and a t-shirt, depending on what events we got going on. But then, yeah, I'm streaming all night. So like you said, the pajamas come out at night and the door gets locked for my safety, but you just knock, we'll let you in.
Mhm.
And we're there all night. And, I think I've got a couple of realtors who actually are taking me up on my challenge to show up at like 2, 3 a.m. this year.
Wow.
I can donate at 3 a.m. and we'll just see how that goes. It's gonna be kind of fun. We do play video games through the night. Just try and keep it exciting the entire time.
You do get a chance to take a couple of cat naps, though, I would hope, because you need to.
Oh yes, I take a couple cat naps. That's correct.
Good.
Live
Good.
every hour.
Good.
So
Okay. Live
they're
every
fun,
hour.
They're the most fun lives, especially the 3, 4 a.m. lives. They're just
Kind of goofy. There's a lot of goofiness that can come out in that at that hour of the morning.
But again, I pull it back to, I get to do this for one weekend, and it sucks for one weekend, but some people who are living with this and are living with dementia are doing this every day for years. And so, if I can take a little bit of my time and can experience a little bit of what it's going through and shed some light on that to hopefully thousands of people in the Fargo-Moorhead area, that they'll understand at least a little bit what's going on, and will understand what the Alzheimer's Association is and how they can help.
Yeah, that's so good. And I would bet, looking at your records and your numbers that have gone up every year, that it is becoming more obvious to the community what you're up to. It feels like it. Are you feeling like they're getting a lot more aware of this?
I would say, yeah, the community is building around it, and it's really cool. Just finding these sponsors and finding people. I know how we started this conversation about kind of, you just have to ask, right? And so I found these sponsors and people who I'm just like reaching out and going, who wants to help? And so I found people who help with social media. I found Josh, who's helping with just event or coordination and organization of it, and really people just step up and support such a fun cause, and you're willing to come out and do things, and it's fun to just find those win-wins where people love it. And I can find businesses that it helps them and it helps me and it helps grow everything, and we're all together in this together.
Yeah, last year I remember, I'm a big fan of the show This Is Us, and I remember telling you that This Is Us, which completed its however many year run last year, the last episode of that series was finding the cure for Alzheimer's. And it was so relevant to the timing of your event. And so that's getting some national attention. There's a lot more awareness, I think, of dementia and Alzheimer's in, the social scenes all over, because it seems like more people are suffering from this. And everything you can do helps, not just locally, but helps the whole organization and the whole world learn more about this disease.
Yeah. Well, and it's super cool. We are now in the time of treatment. So I don't know if you've even noticed this, but we have 2 or 3 treatments that are coming out that are available for people who are in the early stages of it. Which, years ago, I would never even want to know if I had it because I couldn't.
There's nothing.
I mean, there was no change to it, but now that we have some treatments and some opportunities, it allows people to want to screen earlier, allows people to want to understand earlier and to help make changes. So we still don't have a cure yet, but I'm super excited to see treatments coming and hoping that we can make them available for everybody and get that available out there, because this could be, hopefully we'll find that world without Alzheimer's, and hopefully my kids will, or their kids will never have to know watching this long goodbye with one of their loved ones.
Yeah, so good, Kyle. Well, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of watching what you've been up to. And you are an inspiration to anyone out there who has a cause that's close to your heart, that you might be sitting back going, I wish someone would do something. You remind us, Kyle, that you are someone. We are someone, each of us. If you've ever felt like, I wish someone would do something, take Kyle's example, and you are someone. And Kyle, thank you so much for what you're doing. Repeat again for us where it will be and when it will be.
Yeah, so it'll be at 6012 78th Avenue South out in Horace, North Dakota. It'll be June 23rd through the 25th. And find the most up-to-date information, of course, is longestopenhouse.com.
And if you can't be there in person and you're hearing this somewhere in the world, you can donate right there. You can be part of Kyle's event, even if you can't be there in person. You can watch it streaming. You can see all the craziness that will be happening that weekend. And the purpose is so that, as Kyle said, we might never have to watch the long goodbye anymore when this disease gets under control. And Kyle, you're doing your part, and I'm happy to support you.
Well, thank you, Jody. I appreciate you having me on and being able to share the word.
Absolutely. And as always, everyone, get real. Talk to you again. Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.